Right, I've drawn in here. I think you'll agree it's a very attractive horizontal line. I think that looks really nice, that line there. That bit there I drew in, then I decided I wanted it a bit bigger, so I drew another one in. I didn't bother rubbing it out because I just thought I think it'll get hid. Anyway, hopefully, I hope so. That's going to be a little, it could be a land. That it's going to be a sky. So I'm going to whack some nice moist water on that sky now. Ready to go. That's my water. It don't matter if I come down. In fact, it don't matter what I do, I can come down through whole page actually. It's not going to make much difference. Side wet. Side and top wet. That'll do. Right, now I need to get a sort of creamy colour. A bit of raw sienna or something like that. Is it raw sienna? That'll do this nice. I've just mixed my own up because I've just got a mixture of paints what someone gave me. I think I've mentioned this before. Right, that someone did it in my paint. So that's that there. Right, I'm going to come into some what's it called? Cerulean blue on that bottom bit there. And this top bit, and get some really dark blue, and I'm going to mix some purple in there and all. Some purple mixed in with that and all. That's what that looks like. So this is dark blue and purple. Just a quick look. I think I like more purple in. Okay, even more purple in, I think. See, more purple. It sort of comes across there, like that, up into there. And then I think it sort of all works its way down here a bit. So, see the bottom of there, like that. Something like that. I think what I might do is get a damp brush and mould some of that in this end. Some of them lines look a little bit strong. In fact, what I'll do, I'll get some of this cream colour back in. Mould some in with that. That's it. Mould a bit in with that cream colour. And I'll get a clean brush for top bits. Blend some of that in a bit better. That's looking better already. That's it, to there. Mould some of this bottom bit in. See, this is all still wet, so I can, so long as it stays wet, I can have a go and do a little bit, you see. Now that's that, so clean my brush again. I'm going to go back in this bottom with some more cerulean. As long as it stays wet, I'm okay to keep tingling about. So that's my cerulean back in. Gone back in with some more purple into this bottom bit here. This bottom bit here. There's that nice creamy colour still in there. You can still see that, look. Can you see it? That's it. And then on this top bit, there's plenty of this purple colour in there. Wash my brush out and try and just soften that a little bit on this bottom bit with this. That's it, that's nice. Just soften that a little tiny bit. And on there. And then I want some really dark blue in this top bit. Start blending that in, soften that in a bit. Oh, start whispering again, innit? Don't know why. Should I go in with a bit of dirt? Looking at that, it looks a little bit too pretty to me. Right, I'm going to just come in and get a few with this thing. It's a bit of kitchen towel, not a thing. Just get a few white highlights into them clouds. These will be subtle, very subtle. There, that's that. Just grabbing them while I can. There's a few down here and a few little subtle white clouds and stuff. That's that. And then I'm thinking maybe it's a bit of muck, so I've just got a little bit of burnt umber into that blue. I don't wash my brush. A little bit of Payne's grey. And I'm just, that's nice. I'm just going to mucky that a bit. A bit more burnt umber in there. Just to dull these colours down a bit. I don't want this sky too pretty. You can go for, I think, best way to think about it, you can leave these purples as really purple like that if you want, and you can go for a pretty sky and that'll look pretty. Or you can add a bit of these muckier colours in and it gets a little bit less pretty, but it gets slightly more of a realistic look. So it's sort of, you can make a choice between pretty and realistic. I'm thinking I might just get a bit of Payne's grey right in that top bit there. That's a bit more. A bit more purple on there. Got a bit more purple in that bottom bit there, look. That's it. I'll clean my brush completely now. I think probably even dry it a bit. So it's fairly dry. I'll just come back in and just soften some of this. See, this is going nearly dry now, but because my brush is damp, I think I'm still going to get away with moving stuff around a bit. Now this paper's gone a bit blotty, look, if you look at it, gone a little bit blotty. That's literally just because it's not very good quality paper. I didn't want that black stripe there, so I'll just take that back out. Right, I'm going to use these again, just to try and get a bit more of a cloudy colour. Because this paper's so, if you're using good paper, this with this same technique, you'll get actually a much better sky than this, because these bits here won't absorb the colour, so you get some nice white clouds coming in, whereas mine's absorbed the colour that much. It's all these blotchy bits here is where it's damaged paper, but I can't afford different paper, so there's not much I can do about it really. Right, I think while that's there now, I might as well just put my water in, I think. So I'll get some cerulean blue, I think, for my horizon line. I'm not bothered if I go over that line, it's not going to matter. I'm just going to take that off because that paper's creased there. So I'll pull that down a bit. Sort that right in a minute. Yeah, so I'm thinking a bit of that cerulean blue. See, that paper's damaging its end, look. But when it dries, it looks a bit better. But yeah, it's not the best of paper, this isn't. You know what, I'm going to go straight through them rocks, because same again, it's just easier. And it's same again, when I cut these rocks out, if you're on good quality paper, they'll cut right back to white, but on here that blue will sink right into this paper and sort of a bit sort of ruin it really. But I can add some designer's gouache back in and that'll help. But you won't even have to do that if you're on a decent paper. I'm not mounting. This paper's alright. It does. I'm not bothered. It's so cheap. I'm not complaining. It's cheap. In fact, look, I can do that. Take a little bit back out by just putting water in there and then where them rocks are, and then I get a few rocks highlights. But if you look at that, just look at. Push that up a bit. Look at that. What I'm doing there. I've got pure water on my brush there. On a good quality paper, that paint will wash pretty much back out. But on here, it's stained it a bit. Look, that's just because it's cartridge paper. I'm painting like I'm using a quality paper. A lot of people what paint on this cartridge paper paint quite a different style to this. So yeah, the paper's damaged, but we'll see what it looks like in a minute. When I dry it, it might look a bit better. Blaming my tools, aren't I? Yeah, I'm telling you now. If I were on good quality paper, this picture'd already look amazing. It only looks crap because of the paper. Took a bit of drying, that, didn't it? Right, I think what I'm going to do now, I'm not even going to wash my brush. Just leave whatever muck's on my brush. I'm going to mix up, a bit more wetter than that. I'm going to mix up a decent green colour. So, starting off with some yellow, because I want a light green colour. So, to explain how I'm mixing this colour is going to be a bit impossible, because what I'm actually doing, I've got some yellow, what I've just mixed, I say mixed up, my paint's dry in my palette, so I've just wet it and made a pool of yellow. Right. Now, the green what I'm mixing in is just some really filthy green. It's probably got burnt umber and Payne's grey and all sorts in it. And there's a dry pool of that, so I've just wet that and put that yellow into it, and it looks about what I'm after. So that's how I've got this colour. In fact, there's some bits in here of that colour, so I'll just pop a few bits in there like that. There's some bits down here. There's a bit goes up there. There's quite a bit goes up there like that. There's some bits down there and all. Something like that, that's that. Right, then we sort of go, let's see, I'm gonna add some light red into that green, I think. Stick it in that green and get like a really sort of, yeah, that's nice. It's getting me like a creamy colour. It's not really even a green. So then I'll just fill these gaps in with that, I think. See, down there, not virtually black. Get in here. There we are. Soften some of that other colour in. Let's see, what other colour have I got? Right now, I'm literally just going to add Payne's grey to that colour. That looks mint. Yeah, I'll just put that in everywhere, across everywhere. That's just Payne's grey added to that colour. I'll mix it in as I'm painting, look, and then I'll get more and more of that colour in, or the other colours coming into this colour as I'm painting, making it a softer colour. Look at that, it's virtually got no Payne's grey left in it now. But look how nice that colour is. And there's some bits all splodged in and around. I'm not even looking at where they are on my painting now. Don't matter, just splodging them in. A few bits down here, I think, on this bottom bit. I think that'll definitely have some in. In fact, I've dabbed my brush back in for this bottom bit. A few more bits on there. I've gone over my line a bit and all on there. What a wally. Right, that's that. Oh, that's looking good. just sat back. I'm going to do more to that, but just sat back looking at that. Right, I'm going to leave that. As soon as you see it, you think, oh, that looks nice. That's where you leave it. Right. Now then. Let's get a little tiny brush. This is going to be probably, I've got Payne's grey mixed. I mixed a little bit of light red into it to make it slightly on the brown side. Just using this little brush for this bit here. So I'm just putting some little pebbles and things in on that end there, so it just helps me with this little brush to do that little bit. I think no, that side hasn't got pebbles, it's just that one little bit what's got pebbles on then. So that's done. Right, I've gone into that same colour. I've not washed my brush, so if there's a bit of green still in my brush, I'm not bothered, it'll just add a bit of extra thing into it. Right, I just dubbed in, so that's like Payne's grey, and if I leave a few little gaps, look, they'll look like bits of stones and things. But I think what I'm going to do, let's put some bits of stones and things in anyway with this one. In fact, this is like one big rock, I think, this bit here. That hasn't gone very good. Let me get another brush. This one. That's not gone very good at all. I want an highlight at the top of that rock. So if I do that, dry that brush off. Oh, in fact, then I just dab it with this. That should give me a highlight. If not, I'll add a bit white to it or something. Right, that's okay. There's a lot smaller rocks on this side, so I'll add some of them in. I'll use this brush for re-wetting, I think. Just re-wet some of that. Keep it wet, and I can keep adding rocks as and when I want. A few little rocks there. That's it. I think this. Some rocks going down that side like that, look. Or like that. See if we can wet that bit and get one there. Swap to this brush. This brush, it's just got the end sharp end on it, look. Right, so that's that. Alright, come in with pure jet black Payne's grey now. Some more rocks in there. Right, what I'll do now, there's some green in there. Tell you what, I'm going to go into the mucky green now. And a tiny bit of yellow to lighten it. And melt that off into that greeny stuff there. That's nice. Leaving gaps in it and stuff. Them white bits there, I'll try and leave them white bits in. So I get pure white. So there's a tiny one there, look. Pure white highlight. Dab into a bit more yellow there. Tiny bit more yellow. That's it. That looks nice, doesn't it? It's gone even more green. There we are. Then I'm going to go into just to vary my colour. Burnt umber now. Across top of here with burnt umber. Now this bit here, get some jet black into that again and all. Oh, that looks nice. That bit there has got loads and loads of little right, I think. Loads and loads of little tiny rocks on this bit. See, this paper's not the best for these techniques. It's like if you're on proper paper, that'll scrape back to a pure white. But it's good practice to be on the more difficult stuff to work with. Okay, that's nice. Right, I'm going to go into now some dark blue. A bit there. There's definitely some dark blue stuff comes in here on this bottom bit. Left some gaps in there, and then I've gone into some burnt umber and all, just to mix in with it. Same this side. Mix a bit of burnt umber in, and then I've got to work fast because there's all pebbles in this. I need to get these pebbles in quick before it disappears. This here, these are quite big rocks in this side. It's running away with me. Yeah, these are quite big rocks. I'll use a bit of this one. There. You didn't even see me scrape that in because that rock. I'll put that right up there so you can see what I'm doing at the bottom. I used that little bit of an old credit card on that one. I tore that credit card up, so I spent a bit of money on it, so I thought, well, I'll have to tear it up. I don't want to spend any money. Yeah, well, I'll blend that green in there, same here. And that yellow, I'll blend that back into some of that green look. Looks good, doesn't it? Well, I can blend that into some green and all if I want. Back into that blue. More blue. Use this one here because these are all little pebbles on this side. So I use this. If you sat flat, you can do that like that, and it's more easier to do these. This angle, it's a bit difficult. There we are. I'm not one for moaning. There, that's loads of little ones. Right, I've come into the black. Tell you what you can do, and I'll try and leave some gaps like that for little tops of little rocks. Put some more of that blue back. Tell you what, let's put some of that purple in. Purple in that sky. May as well have a bit in here, haven't we? Why not? There we are. Loads of little rocks in there, look. Do. Perfect. Right. Tell you what I might do. Just on this top bit here where we've got this big rock, say a bit of purple in there to do the back side bit of that rock, and then the highlight on top. So a bit of purple in there, some purple lowlights, and that'll help link my sky. It'll look good with a bit of purple. Right next to this blue will look good and all. There we are. And it just links that up with that sky with that blue and purple. And it's same as I've said before. In reality, probably won't get bright blue and bright purple rocks here, but not in reality. So I want it to look pretty because I've used mucky colours. It's still got a fairly realistic sort of look to it, but it's up to you. You go as really. You've got to judge between pretty and realistic. If you paint it like a photo, it's not going to fit as good. Like this fits better because that links up to the sky. That water links to the sky, so the whole picture sits together nice. But you might watch this and think, yeah, but that purple looks ridiculous, and that's okay if you think that. Just if you're thinking that, just don't put it in. Just don't ever watch this channel ever again. No, if you're thinking that, just don't put it in. Do the world's your lobster. You can do whatever you want with your picture. But to me, it links it. Right. I think what it needs now, is an equal fisherman. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll have a sip of coffee first. Put a little fisherman in. Depending on how big. If I do a great big fisherman, that'll make that area little. If I do a little tiny fisherman, that'll be a massive rock. So your fisherman can be any size you want, but whatever size you're making, it's going to affect your painting. Because weight light's coming in and that, I think the fisherman's going to be slightly on the silhouetted side. So I'm going to do him wearing green, but he's silhouetted. Right, where shall I put him? I think I'm going to put him just down other side of this rock, about there, so we don't even see his legs. I think I'm going to have him behind the rock there, like that. Look. Say if I give him an arm there, like that, and put him behind that rock there, that'll actually make him quite easy to paint. I'll put him a green hat on. I'll get a thing in a bit, try and put a little, what's the name on that hat? Just mixing up some paint. I think I'm going to get a smaller thing to paint his fishing rod. Let's get an even smaller brush for his, let's have a look, for his fishing rod. That one's perfect. I want to give him, do my reading glasses now. There, I've tried to put a little peak on that. That's his fishing rod there. That's long enough, innit? Then I'm wondering whether to give him some grey hair. What grey hair? Look alright. I'm going to dry him so my grey hair don't spoil. There we go. I'm going to give him some grey hair. I've left that black on my brush, so he's not going to have white hair. That black's gone grey, and he is actually going to have grey hair. Right, let me grab some reading glasses, because I can't see. There we are. Some reading glasses on. Is that going to show up? No, it's not. That's not going to work, I don't think. I've mixed some more black into it. Oh yeah, look at that. That's dark enough to see, and that does look like he's got grey hair. So he's an old boy. That can be Grandad Jack out fishing. He does a bit of fishing. Right. Now, I'm tempted to put a tiny bit of Chinese white back into there, into them clouds, bring them up a bit. But what we're on 28 minutes. Tell you what, I'll do a little bit. Alright. In fact, I've not gone Chinese white. I've dipped into a bit of gout, designer's white gout. I'll do a bit there first, just onto that bit, and then a bit there onto that bit, just to bring these whites a little bit stronger. And that's literally, you don't have to do this if you're on proper watercolour paper. This is just because this paper, it's hard to grab your whites back, because this paper's it's just cartridge paper and it soaks your colour in more, so you'll not have to do this. Right, all I've done there, just wipe that brush off a bit, and then just soften that in. That's a bit of designer's white gout, what I've blended in there, just to grab me back a little bit of that white there. And if I want to, I can get in where that purple is. I can soften that out a bit, and now soften back into that purple. There we are. That's done that. It's pretty good. Happy with that. Give that a tiny dry. Peter and Paul in. Right, what's that brush out? Peter and Paul are looking for a few worms and that. Pop them there. That's Peter. That's Paul. They're both out looking for worms. Right, I think, where shall I put my thing? I'll put it there, look, just in that big gap there. Oh, got enough water on my brush. Try again. Put my reading glasses on for this little bit. Bye. Die. Bertie. Bye. There we are, that's that. Well, that's that. That is that. It's done. So, Grandad Jack out fishing, Peter and Paul's out watching him and looking for worms at the same time. And do you know what I've forgotten to do? I want to do it now. Can't leave that off. What I need is into my designer's white gouge. So let me get a bit more designer's gouge out and all. A bit more on my brush, that's better. Right. Got some designer's gouge on my brush now. My brush. Right, I need some whiter lines. I'm walking, just so you know, I'm walking from photograph again. Just lately, every single photograph I've worked from, there's been no reflections in water. Just on the photo, so I've not put none in. But at some point, I'll have to put a few reflections on some of this water, so you can see how to do it. But just lately, I think it's because it's a windy day and the water gets ruffled up and it stops the reflection. I don't know. What I tend to do, if it's got a reflection on it, I put it in. If it hasn't, then I don't. I just go with my photo what I've took. I can tell you what I could do, look. Slight highlight on top of there, look, where it lights it in it. And if you want to, you can dot a few more highlights about. Can't be bothered. I don't think it needs it, but yeah, them lines will fade in a bit more than that as they dry. That's it. That's my picture. 33 minutes, that's took. So just bring that down a bit so you can have a look. There's a bit more sky on there. Look, you've got the full thing in at that. Yep. So that bobbly effect, what I got on that sky, where it looked a bit horrible when I was painting it because of the bobbles in it, but now that paper's dry, that's improved a lot. Like I say, you'll get this cartridge paper's not fantastic for skies. It's alright for all this stuff, not fantastic for skies, but it's cheap. So, right, I'll see you all on the beach. Bye bye.